What's up, clan? Island Trader FX here. Of course, back with another one. Last week was definitely a good week. We finished off last week profitably. We tried to take two trades. As a matter of fact, we did take two trades, but unfortunately, only one was, how would I put that? Only one was actually accounted for. The second trade, we're going to get into it. So basically, what happened, prop firms and all their, little stupid news rules and what have you, um, they actually removed the trade. I'm going to go into that in the video. So if you want to figure out, okay, what transpired with that, just stay tuned for the video, for what's in store, and you'll see what happened. But overall, it was a profitable week. So yeah, let's get into it. Ciao. All right, so we are on the chats. We are on the chats. If you look very well, you would know that that entire video wasn't recorded in one sitting. A few days passed before I finished recording that video, but anyways, it will look like one video. So nevertheless, let's get into it. So we're on the chats. GBP NZD. Like I mentioned, I took a trade on GBP NZD. I took a trade on AUD JPY. Right. So GBP NZD is the one that played out and actually we could actually see, I would say that we could see that it was accounted for in the trading history. AUD JPY, we could see that the trade was taken, and then I'm going to put a screenshot on there, but it was deducted, and then we're going to get into why it was deducted and all that sort of stuff. But first, let's just go over GBP NZD. So GBP NZD, of course, you could clearly see during an uptrend, you could clearly see that the market is bullish. So of course, from that point, we want to look for our PDRAs, right? An area that we expect price to continue going bullish, because the market doesn't go in one direction. It doesn't just go up, right? So it goes up, it retraces, goes up, retraces, and everybody ideology of the market might be different, but mine is, of course, you're dealing with price. So when price goes up, price buys, you have to fill in those buy orders with sell orders before price could continue moving up, right? Everybody has, a different thing, kind of like religion, but regardless, we're not going to go over there. So we're on the chart. So the first thing that I did or identified was a weekly fair value gap, which you could see literally right here. You have a consolidation, a weekly consolidation followed by an expansion to the upside, right? So this is where I wanted to see price come into. I wanted to see price come into that weekly fair value gap, right? Jumping down straight to my 4 hour. This was a very simple trade, by the way. Very simple trade. I did not even have to go to my 15 minutes. This high right here, right? This high descending into the zone. I wanted to see price disrespect that high. So some individuals, as soon as price taps into the zone, from the time they see an expansion to the upside, boom, right away they get into the trade. No, that's not me. I want outside or I would say in addition to the nice 4 hour expansion, right? I want to see, I see my screen messing around. Oh, what's going on with that? I see my screen messing around. I hope the audio, I hope everything is good. Okay, so I was saying, in addition to the expansion that I'm seeing right here on the 4 hour, I want to see price disrespect this, right? Price right here is giving me bearish market structure. They're giving me lower highs. They're giving me lower lows, even if you're seeing that liquidity sweep right here. But you could see price descending, right? I want to see price ascend. I want to see higher highs. I want to see higher lows. So after price gave me this, I was patient. I waited. Price then came again. It pushed higher. Okay. I wasn't able to get in here. Here would have been the ideal place to get in, but I'm not staring at the charts, and I'm actually now really starting to make use of alerts on MT5, not TradingView. So TradingView, if you didn't buy the premium version, you don't have unlimited alerts, right? But on MT5, I have a whole video showing how you could get unlimited alerts on MT5 using an indicator. Unfortunately, I think that indicator, I guess it went down, or it's no longer working. There is an update. I'm going to create another video for that, so stay tuned. But of course, after price had this lovely expansion again, when they retraced, I got an opportunity and I entered. Okay, I entered. Even if we have a very tiny 4-hour fair value gap here and price already tapped into it, just the mere fact that price retraced, I entered. I still entered. Where did my stops go? My stops did not go right below the low here, which created that very tiny 4-hour fair value gap. If you're not able to see, let me go ahead and assist you a bit. Right? Very tiny. Okay. Let me just draw it out properly. So yeah, usually people would just go ahead and place the stop loss, for example, because we're buying, right? People would go ahead and place their stop loss literally under the low that created the expansion. But I want to always take into account liquidity sweeps. And of course, when you're trading on a prop firm, spreads become an issue. So like I was saying, I place my stop loss below this low right here, right? So if the market wants to go ahead and extend, bam, liquidity sweep, and then push up, I'm safe. My stop loss is safe. I'm giving the market room to breathe. I'm pretty sure you've heard that term already. And as always, I always aim for the nearest 4-hour high, not the week, the close, because it is the true close of price. The wicks are manipulation. Okay. So get that in your head. Wicks are manipulation. You aim for the close. I'm not preaching to you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I do and what works for me. So I aim for the close right here, as you could see. And price, they kind of chopped a little bit to the upside, and then you had some massive push, and then boom, TP was hit. But you could definitely see that price continued ascending higher and higher and higher. Of course, everything is a learning phase. Me personally, I want to learn how to hold my trades longer. One thing that I notice, all the scenarios are not the same, right? Sometimes and I've seen that multiple times, as soon as price hit that 4-hour high, the close of that high, or that daily, or what have you, it would just melt, right? But I will learn with time to hold my trades longer. So that could have been, it was a 1 to 2 trade. That could have been a 1 to 5, even more than that, right? A 1 to, let's see, a 1 to 5.7, almost a 1 to 6. But that was it for the GBP NZD trade. Let's jump over to the AUD JPY. Yeah, I think that was the pair, and that was the trade that I was not able, that I took part in. So I'm going to put up the screenshot right now. So you're going to see I actually took part in that trade. I entered that trade, but prop firms, man, that's why I always advocate for having a personal account while you're trading a prop firm. If you're on the evaluation phase, have a personal account. This is going to give you the additional boost that you need, because sometimes you just get stuck on those prop firms, especially on the evaluation stage. You're making endless profit that you're not able to withdraw. Doesn't make sense, right? So if you're trading with a personal account, you're making profits that you're able to withdraw, and you're working your way into making that evaluation account a funded account, which is when you're able to withdraw. But without all the yapping, let's just get into it. So it was a Friday. For me, Fridays are more or less a quick money, quick scalp day. That's how I look at it. I just look at where is price headed right now. The market is going to close for the weekend at 5. So where is price drawn to? That is what I'm really focused on. So at the time, all of this chop wasn't there. So just pay no mind to that. So we're just going to look at the daily time frame. So at the time when I came in, I saw this. I saw price pushed into this daily fair value gap, which is marked off right here. They pushed into it, They tried to retrace. I'm just going to pull that a little closer. They tried to retrace, but unfortunately, they were not able to retrace. So that shows me weakness. Although the overall trend is bullish, there you will get opportunities to sell within that trend. Okay, and seeing that it is Friday, price is pushing towards either a high or a low. There's a particular price that the market wants to go towards. So this is what I was looking for. So one, I already realized that there's weakness right here. Price is not holding bullishly, so I'm looking for a selling opportunity. So I went down to my hourly time frame. Okay. Before I go down to the hourly time frame, let me see if I'm able to just touch on one thing real quickly. Right. So in addition to this bullish fair value gap that you're seeing, price also created a daily bearish fair value gap. So now in my mind, I'm like, so after they disrespected or they're not respecting the bullish fair value gap, they created a bearish daily fair value gap. So price is actually showing me it wants to go to an area in a rush. That is essentially what a fair value gap is, right? Price is rushing so much that it will have to eventually go back in to refill those sell orders for it to continue to move to the downside. So we had price tapping into that daily fair value gap. All right. I went down to my 1 hour time frame. And as a matter of fact, I think I took that in the Asia session. Asian session. So yeah. So you had price coming into the bearish zone, which is right here. And then you had a beautiful expansion to the downside. Bam. Nice expansion to the downside, doing what? Creating another. Let me just clear off all that makeup so you could see, creating another 1 hour fair value gap. So when I saw that, I said, that's great. All that time, price was chopping here. I was looking at it. I was wondering to myself, man, it looks like price is going to go ahead and take out those lows. For me personally, you guys know I like the close of my lows. So as you could see, this is a 1 hour low and this is the close of a 1 hour low, right? So I said to myself, man, it looks like, because price was just dwindling nicely, to the downside. I said to myself, man, it looks like price is not going to come back into that zone here. But then at one point, it did. It did. And when it shot up and it went into the zone, I market executed right here. And then I went about my night. I think I woke out, and then after that, I went to sleep. Right? Unfortunately, there was JPY news at 11:30, I believe. There was JPY news at 11:30, and if any of you trade prop firms, you guys know there is a lot of rules with news. One of the rules are, if you're a swing trader, you're supposed to be in the trade 5 hours prior to news. If you're in the trade 5 hours prior to news hitting, if the volatility from news ends up hitting TP in one go, because we know news is very volatile, you're not going to deduct those profits, right? But unfortunately, I entered that trade around 8 p.m. and I think news was at 11:30. So I would probably say I was in that trade for about 3 hours and change. So I kind of disagree with that news, that rule for news, because these these things were created for gamblers. When prop firms just came about, you had a lot of individuals. What they would do, they would just wait for news to come out. If they know news is going to come out at 10, they would put in a trade for like quarter to 10 and try to go long and try to go short at the same time. You understand? But seeing that I'm in that trade 3 hours ahead of time, I just feel like, man, but it is what it is. That's their rules. So price news came out at 11:30, and I have no doubt it was that massive candle right here that just burst and it hit TP right away. And yeah, as soon as it hit TP, I got an email from the prop firm, which I'm also going to put up on the screen so you could see, saying that I violated the news rule. What it basically says is you could only close a trade 10 minutes um, after news has completed. So if news spikes to the upside, to the downside, and it hits TP within a 10-minute time frame, they're going to deduct those profits from you. So that is essentially what happened, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, I still documented that trade because it still played out perfectly to my analysis. And guess what? We still had a profitable week. So that's it for the video. But one thing that I also want to say is control your psychology, control your mind. I could just imagine, especially someone that has been losing for a while, to finally win, and then boom, right away they take your profits. You'd be mad. You'd be looking for another trade. You'd be in the Discord chat scrolling. You know, control yourself, control your mind, because we do very irrational things when we're not um, thinking the right way. That is it for today's video. I hope you guys were able to learn something. If you did learn something, of course, subscribing is free of charge. It doesn't hurt, it doesn't cost a penny. Go ahead, do so. Leave a like, comment, and share with somebody. Ciao.